is where, I mean,
you'd think there would have been.
There should have been maybe.
Yeah.
Because we looked over the edge in a couple spots, and it was essentially just straight down. But, man, it was beautiful. So, Oregon, absolutely. I think you still, even though I have to say Redwoods is probably the most beautiful drive I've ever had, is if you like driving through the woods, I have to still say Oregon so far is my favorite state.
Me too.
Yeah,
Which
definitely.
has been a nice surprise because we hadn't spent a whole lot of time in Oregon.
Well, no, at all.
So,
yeah.
Yes.
Well, so you have something to, this is, by the way, this is Real Estate Coaching Radio, and we are on our U.S. tour. And our next stop is going to be?
Napa.
And we are staying at the
Meritage Resort and Spa, and we're going to park there for maybe about 4 or 5 days. So
right.
If you guys are in the area, it's a good way to catch up with us. I believe it's easy to find. We can grab lunch or coffee or something like that. And then on to, I think we're going to maybe have 2 or 3 days in San Francisco, then a week in Monterey at least. Yep.
So stop by the Meritage Resort. You can message us directly at Tim and Julie Harris on Instagram, and that's the easiest way to communicate. That's the preferred way to communicate, is just go over to Instagram and obviously follow us. We've been picking up hundreds of followers per day, which I hadn't anticipated. Frankly, I hadn't anticipated any of this being the PR brouhaha that it's actually become in a good way. You know, I think it probably all started with everyone wanting to have a sense of freedom after COVID, and everyone sort of appreciating the fact that we wanted that as well.
Yes.
And then we designed this trip originally just to be a family trip, right?
Share it with you.
Shows, introduce Zoe to things she'd never seen before: trees and Sasquatches and Bigfoots and bears and bighorn sheep and
the Pacific.
In the Pacific Ocean, just all kinds of things she hasn't seen. And we still have half the country still to go. She's never seen a big cornfield. She's never, well, maybe she has in Texas. Maybe.
There were a couple on the way.
Yeah. But it's just so much we just wanted to see from a personal perspective and introduce Zoe to. But now that we started publicizing our drive around, getting messages from all of you guys, running into some of you. I don't mean that in the car. I mean just like meeting you here and there. That's been a real highlight for the experience, and we really sincerely appreciate it. So if you want to meet up with Julie and I, our next major stop is going to be at the Meritage, and we're going to be in Napa, and you guys can look that up. That's pretty easy to find. And, just message us on Instagram, and we will certainly figure out a way to meet you. It's a huge resort, so it'll be easy for us to find a nice, comfortable place to sit down. Indeed. And maybe we'll just do a quick, depending on, the dynamic of who shows up, we'll just do maybe a quick podcast.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you have some stuff to share with these guys from the mortgage
from our
headlines.
Website, actually.
Oh, good.
Yes. Okay. So, and this will just take a couple of minutes, but this is interesting for those of you who still need convincing that it's not going to be forbearance Armageddon. There's some good news. Borrowers with home loans backed by the federal government, of course that's almost everybody, may extend the length of the mortgages to lock in lower monthly payments. According to Urban Institute, 75% of new